tonight, there should be no fear in our hearts as we approach Jesus.
Welcome back, everybody. Today is Christmas Eve.
And it's good to see you. You've been journeying with us for, I've lost track how many days.
I think it's like 25 or 26 days now.
25, 26 days. And it really is an honor for Janelle and I to serve this way. I know we've said it before in the past, but this is a real gift to us. And I really can't believe people watch us. It's a humbling thing. But we do this because we feel called to do this, because we believe the world needs Jesus Christ. And we're preparing our hearts for the birth of Jesus. But our ministry is about helping people come to know his love and live the Catholic spiritual life. And if you would like to help us proclaim this message, I would ask you to consider becoming part of our Patreon team. Those are people who give to us on a monthly basis that allow us to do this ministry. And really, when you're giving to us, you're giving to a mission, helping us proclaim the beauty of our faith. So there'll be a link at the end of this video as well in the description for your consideration, and we do appreciate your consideration. So today we continue on with St. Alphonsus Liguori's Advent Meditations and Sermons. Janelle?
Yes. Okay, so I just really loved, he quotes two different saints talking about why it was important that Christ came as a child. Our Savior became an infant. Who is afraid to approach a child? Asks St. Thomas of Villanova. Children do not inspire terror or aversion, but attachment and love, says St. Peter Chrysologus. He is born as an infant, says St. Bonaventure, that neither his justice nor his power might intimidate you. He comes before us as a little babe, full of sweetness and mercy. O God, says Gerson, thou hast hidden thy wisdom under a child's years, that it might not accuse us. So I just found these really interesting because I just feel like nobody has any reason to not come to Jesus. There's nothing frightful about a baby. Nothing, like no judgment. When you see a little baby, they're not there, casting all these preconceived notions about you. A baby, often they are there with open arms, wanting someone to pick them up. And that's like Christ when he comes to us as an infant child. It's like he's willing and waiting for us to come to him.
It's really, I think, also a sign of his wanting to be loved, wishing that we would love him. Jesus could have came as a king. He could have came as a great politician. He could just showed up on the scene like that, but he chose to come first as a baby, and then he grew. A king all of a sudden appearing in all majesty and glory would be more intimidating, or a general or a ruler of some type. It's the humility of God that is so impressive here. And I think of our children, they just want to be picked up. They want to be loved. They want kisses. They want tickles. They desire to be with us. They want nothing else but just us. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's true.
And here it is with Jesus. He just wants nothing else than to be with us. If we think back to how the whole salvation story began, it began with Adam and Eve in the garden. And when they take and eat of the fruit, what do? They run, they cover up, and they hide. Why? Because they hear God coming in the breeze, in the garden, and they cover up because they are afraid. So when they fall out of relationship with God, God comes to them and invokes great fear. And here we have the opposite. Jesus coming as an infant. The wise men seek him. They aren't afraid of him. The shepherds hear the announcement of good news and they go and see, what is this all about? They find him. There is no fear. So tonight, there should be no fear in our hearts as we approach Jesus. He wants us to love him. He wants us to approach him. He wants us to embrace him.
So St. Alphonsus also talks about Mary knowing the scriptures and knowing what is to come. And he kind of gives a little narrative about, Joseph, having to go to Bethlehem. When Joseph heard this order, he was much agitated as to whether he should leave or take with him the Virgin Mother, as she was now near childbirth. "My spouse and my lady," said he to her, "on the one hand, I should not wish to leave you alone. On the other, if I take you, I am afflicted at the thought that you will have to suffer much during this long journey, and in such severe weather. My poverty will not permit me to conduct you with that comfort which you require." But Mary answers him, and encourages him with these words, "My Joseph, do not fear. I shall go with you. The Lord will assist us." She knew by divine inspiration, and also because she was well versed in the prophecy of Micaiah, that the divine infant was to be born in Bethlehem. She therefore takes the swathing bands and the other poor garments already prepared, and departs with Joseph. And Joseph also went up to be enrolled with Mary. So I just thought it was really interesting. I wonder if she thought like, okay, God's going to have to figure out a way for us to get to Bethlehem because that's where this baby's supposed to be born, And yet it says actually right at the beginning of this writing that God orchestrated it. He allowed it, that Caesar would publish an edict requiring people to return to their home, their places of birth. And so in turn, Joseph has to go back to Bethlehem. So I just found that was really interesting.
God has his ways of working everything out, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Even like using like secular government to allow, his divine plan to come to fruition.
Something to remember, actually, in the moment of what we go through in the world. We look at the secular governments and think, where in the world is God in this? But we must remember that God uses all players to work out his plan of salvation.
"Be of good cheer then, O sinners," says St. Leo. "The birthday of the Lord is the birthday of peace and joy. Jesus Christ is a prince, not of vengeance on sinners, but of mercy and of peace, constituting himself the mediator betwixt God and sinners."
So, be of good cheer, friends. This is what we celebrate, Jesus Christ being born into this world. God is not just tolerating you. He's not tolerating you. He's not indifferent to you. He wants you. This is why Jesus Christ is coming into the world, because he desires you. So be of good cheer. Friends, thanks for watching. Please comment below what stood out to you and why. Please pray the rosary. It'll be right up there. Link for the Patreon support will be at the end of this video, and we will see you tomorrow on Christmas Day.
If you'd like all our future videos emailed to you upon release, head over to kenandjanelle.com and sign up. And also please consider joining our Patreon team.
By supporting us monthly, you help us continue our ministry in proclaiming the beauty of the Catholic faith to a hurting world. Every pledge does make a difference, so thank you for your consideration.